Today, we're talking about something that hits right at the intersection of survival and corporate power. SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and Walmart. Now, if you've ever used SNAP or know someone who does, you already know how important it is. It keeps food on the table for millions of families every single month. But here's the thing. There's a side of this story that doesn't get talked about nearly enough. Because while SNAP is supposed to help people eat, it's also become a huge business driver, especially for big retailers like Walmart. We're talking billions of dollars in SNAP money flowing into one company's cash registers. And lately, the relationship between Walmart and SNAP has gotten complicated. Walmart's been reinstating minimum basket fees for online SNAP orders, even as people's benefits are shrinking. Meanwhile, Congress is still fighting over who deserves help and how much food assistance should cost taxpayers. And caught in the middle are real people, parents, kids, seniors, who just need to eat. So today we're asking, what happens when a government program built to fight hunger becomes part of a corporate business model? Who really benefits from how SNAP works right now, and who's getting left behind? We'll look at the latest policy shifts, talk about what Walmart's doing with the online EBT orders, and unpack what these changes mean for families trying to stretch every dollar. Because this isn't just a story about food assistance. It's a story about economics, dignity, and how poverty gets priced, one grocery trip at a time.
Welcome to the Retrospect podcast, a show where people come together from different walks of life and discuss a topic from their generation's perspective. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Stoney.
Hello.
And Jason.
Hello, everyone.
How's it going?
Oh, well, I was busy this weekend. I'm still purging my house of stuff.
No, really? I thought you were a little
No,
behind you.
I'm not done. And believe it or not, I found something that I didn't even know I was missing.
Mm-hmm.
I was going through one of those bed Chester drawer, things you keep at the end of your bed.
Yeah.
And I said, we need to clean this out. We need to throw this thing away because it's ratty and everybody's been on me to throw it away. And I was like, okay, we got to get rid of this.
Right.
And I've been meaning to do it. And of course, prior to meeting Tracy, it was kind of one of those things that I'll get to it when I get to it. And I never got to it.
Right.
So I'm going through it. And lo and behold, I found my service gun from my first time when I came on the job.
Okay.
That I didn't even know I was missing.
Were you supposed to turn that in, or was that
No, it's mine. I just didn't know it was there. And lo and behold, I said, well, that's where that thing has been the whole time. Still loaded.
Get out.
Yes.
Okay.
And I just simply said, why? How did this thing even end up in here?
Yeah.
But so it's back. It's in the safe.
Okay.
And have
you taken it out to go shoot it at all?
No, I haven't shot that gun, and it's been over 20 years
Really?
probably. But it was a SIG.
Okay.
When we carried SIG, and
Wow.
yeah. But
That's awesome.
I was like, I remember when I got that gun, and it was like, wow, I'd never even. It just shows you how many things I have in the safe that they didn't even come.
Yeah.
They didn't even come on the.
I just
They
love
didn't even come up, but luckily I found it and it's safe. But But
I love the idea of look at this, and it's just a handgun.
But
that's
so I
great.
did that, and just really right now, I'm gonna tell you what. I don't know if you've been following the news, but this hurricane out the Caribbean is. I mean,
I haven't.
It's a
been
terrible ordeal. Whatever. I mean, I
I
feel bad for those people, and I think it's Jamaica that's fixing to get.
Then Cuba, then
It's fixing to get
Bermuda.
hammered. So yeah.
I didn't hear anything about it until you guys had walked in, and you guys were kind of you guys were talking about stuff about it, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And Stoney was like, "You haven't seen it?" And I was like, "No." And he showed me just this absolutely massive red dot on the map with a little like perfect circular eye in the middle of it. And I was like, "Man, that is scary."
Yeah,
And it made me forget that, like, obviously, yes, we're still like in that season, but it's like we haven't had anything like that in a moment, or I haven't heard anything about it in the news as far as like anything quite.
It's all over the news.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like until now,
a storm is brewing.
Mm-hmm.
So
crazy. Well,
here's hoping there may be another storm brewing too, huh?
Yeah.
As of November the 3rd.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a man-made storm.
Government-made storm.
Yeah.
Liberal Democrat-made storm.
Yeah, I think everybody's aware right now about the government shutdown and what's kind of, everybody's heard different sides of whose fault it is and on and on and on. But, I mean,
there's only one fault, and that's the Democrats are holding on for health care for illegal immigrants. That's the bottom line to all of this.
Yeah, and I would.
And to be honest with you, the moderates are even starting to get tired of this because now they're hurting the very people that they say they represent, and those people are getting pretty pissed off.
Yeah, I think I saw a statement from the national federal employee union or whatever it is. They generally there or strongly on the Democratic side of the political aisle, and they're even saying y'all need to pass the bill and fund the government. And you can continue the discussions on the merits of the ACA subsidies, and I think that's a separate issue. But
right,
I had my head bit off. I made a comment about that, and tell you what, there's a lot of people that are very much are big on those ACA subsidies. I mean, they're saying, well, my family wouldn't have insurance if it wasn't for that, and they couldn't afford this and they couldn't afford that. And look, I get all that. I truly do. I'm very sympathetic. I've always said our healthcare system is broken. Something needs to be done to get it in a better posture than what it is. I don't know what that is. I'm sure there are a lot of very smart people out there that have looked at this issue
and have also said this is messed up.
It's messed up. I just think in the American model of healthcare, I just think we have probably too much stuff. The actual administration of healthcare is vastly more expensive in the United States than it is in other parts of the world, and there's reasons for that, and that's neither here nor there. But that's unfortunately what's this shutdown is causing side effects, which brings up our episode today regarding SNAP. I mean, now the U.S. Department of Agriculture said November 1st that all funding is going to cease and the well is dried up.
Well, the big part of the episode when I tossed it out there is not just SNAP, but it's actually November the 3rd. And November the 3rd, there's been a declaration of war by the Democrats on Walmart.
Yeah.
Between 6:30 and 7:30 on Monday the 3rd, they say they can't arrest us all. And to go and rush and take everything out of every Walmart that you can get because it looks like this is how we're going to get our Thanksgiving meals.
Bruh.
And what they're saying is the rumors are out there that Walmart is going to, on the 1st, going to shut down except for, and this is because they don't have money. They're not getting money in to go buy stuff. And so they're going to be rioting in the stores and pillaging, or what's the right word for that? Looting the stores.
Yeah.
And if you're a normal person, they're going to steal your buggy. If you're walking out of the Walmart, they're going to steal your stuff.
Absolutely not.
So, and I'm like, you need to think about that.
Right.
Because if you come after the right person, your kids are going to be in foster care. Because just as much as you are trying to provide for your family, I'm trying to provide for my family. And if you come after me, your kids will be in foster care.
Yeah.
And I'm not being, I don't want to say I'm not being ugly. I'm just being very truthful in that matter.
Yeah.
Don't, I understand you got to
Right.
do what you got to do to take care of your family. But when you impede me
Right.
taking care of
If
my family,
if you attack me out and take my buggy in a parking lot, I'm gonna fight back.
I'll deal with it.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's just sad that in the Depression, things were much more dire than this. Okay, we're talking about people maybe or maybe not being able to eat or find food. But in the Depression, there was no food.
Oh yeah.
And this went on for a decade.
Yep.
And none of this was going on. People got together and they did things. They did soup lines. They did bread lines. They tried to do some community gardens. If somebody had it, they tried to share as best as possible. Now, look, some bigger cities did have some bigger problems, but nobody was rioting and looting. And the Depression was 1,000. This isn't, we're not even there yet. And we're talking about looting. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Because I can remember people coming together, and I think this is part of the online thing, and we've destroyed the healthy neighborhoods of people wanting to come together. We still kind of see some glimpses of it, like with Katrina and the storm of 16, where neighborhoods really had to come together.
Right.
Because you didn't have electricity, your freezer food. So everybody had these big pots and barbecue pits and trying to feed people and stuff. But this is just crazy to me that on social media, I counted so far over 150 different videos of different people saying, go to Walmart and do this.
Just take what you want.
Just
I
take
think-
whatever you want.
Well,
like-
I
it's
mean,
such
that's happening. I mean, believe it or not, I mean, that's going on already now.
I know.
I mean, there are a lot of these big cities. There are people
There's just so much
that are just
entitlement.
walking into stores and just taking stuff and leaving. I mean, they're not even stopping them because of. And I don't blame stores telling their employees not to try to stop these people because of the potential injuries and, they don't want the liability, but and that's why a lot of these stores are closing up. And unfortunately, a lot of these places are located in low income areas where those people need a viable place to go grocery shop or to go do things, but they can't stay open because there's just too much crime. And this kind of stuff that just mentioned that Stoney just mentioned, it just continues to feed this narrative that we don't care about the law as much as I hear about the Democrats using against the Republicans that you don't believe in the law and blah 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 and blah blah blah. You need to look at your own self here. What messaging are you sending out there? Yeah, just go and steal stuff. That's their answer. And I mean, I hate to say it, but that's where we're at right now. That's what I'm saying. It's what I'm hearing from political parties now is something I thought I would never, ever hear. I mean, at one time, both parties were I would venture to say, were law and order people. But now it's obviously, maybe it's changed.
Well, I mean, the wiring is different in people. Okay, just the internal wiring is so different. What wiring made the Depression era Americans give instead of take, to where now it's take instead of give? I mean, just that's a complete wiring reset.
Well, like I said,
that was the Great Society with Lyndon Johnson. That change, and I would venture to say it probably started under FDR with the New Deal. I mean, look, I think back on my grandparents on my mother's side of the family that were part of the, were in the 26, the flood along the Mississippi River, and what they had no help, and they literally had nothing at that time. And, you have all these kids and you're trying to survive and you've got no help. It's just you and your your husband out there trying to make. That's what I'm saying. We have become now, the population has become so conditioned to the government handing out stuff. We can't imagine a time when that didn't exist. I mean, it just, that's why people go into panic nowadays. Just like we're hearing with this SNAP stuff.
Yeah.
The panicking is starting because they're terrified of how I'm going to eat.
One of Ronald Reagan's greatest quotes is, the most dangerous statement ever spoken was, "Hello, I'm from the government and I'm here to help." Okay. But here we come back to this. The community is gone. The decline of community is so changed the way we define what's even right and wrong anymore.
I think a big thing, like I just said a second ago, is entitlement. Like from what I've seen online a little bit is like I'm owed this. Not to say that I think you're right. The community aspect isn't, but it's more so like I'm going to protect my community and I'm owed this. Like I deserve this. And it's like, even though you,
well, this is one of my questions I was going to throw it at you guys is, are modern generations truly more selfish or simply more desperate and disillusioned or delusional?
selfish.
I
Or
would
all
think,
of the above.
I would venture to say entitled.
That's what I'm saying,
I
yeah.
think we're all to a degree entitled because once you get something and you get it on a regular basis, it becomes an entitlement. It just does. And you get used to it. It's like anything. You get used to it. I mean, just like people before that didn't have it, they still lived and life went on. You just, you adapted to those circumstances and you lived as best you could. And look, I'm not against the government trying to help people. I think there is a place for that. I think, unfortunately, it's become a crutch and it's become a way of life for many people. And the original intent was to help. I mean, the whole social welfare system was really tailored to the poverty in Appalachia. That's kind of was the driving force of that, because that was some abject poverty in that, especially coming out of the Depression. I mean, people not having nothing. So, I mean, we think we have nothing, but the reality is we've got it pretty good. I mean, the supply chains and just kind of our modern day infrastructure has made it where, I mean, if I need help, I can find a shelter or somebody or somewhere that I can get a meal if you're in that desperate of a situation.
They gave away cheese and flour and Spam, and they gave you stuff to sustain you. Now I'm entitled to get what I can so I can get my nails done, get my hair did, and have the new latest, greatest iPhone and tablet and be able to put rims on my car.
Yeah, well.
Okay, see, the whole mentality is different. See, back in the Depression time, even if you were broke, you could still be good. But now, in 2025, the message is, if you're broke, the system failed you, so take what's yours. And this is for me, this is a whole rewiring of the moral, this kind of an immoral economy, if you think about it.
Right.
I mean, really, you're going to take what's yours. Really? Why don't you go do something positive, and your brothers and your sisters and your neighborhoods and everybody right there are going to be in the same jam as you? Why don't you come together and let's do something positive and help each other out?
Because we don't do that anymore. And I think we've touched on this theme throughout this podcast over a few years we've been doing this. We have turned inward. There are consequences to our world today. We're not communal as in times past, where people did kind of get together in times of crisis. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It still does. But I think there are large swaths of the population that are very much looking out for themselves. And I don't care who I have to hurt or whatever I have to do to take care of me. And unfortunately, that language you just, you kind of mentioned about what's being said out there, to me, that's an echo of a of an undercurrent in our society that, I somehow I've gotten screwed, or, this goes back to this, this pushing this victimhood, that you're a victim constantly, and the system's out to get you, and the boogeyman's around the corner, and it's nothing about, maybe I need to adopt more of what I would call a John F. Kennedy approach. Is what can I do for my government versus what my government can do for me. I think somehow this got turned upside down, and we're not the same country anymore. We're just not. And so the things that motivated people at that time in responding to a tragedy, those people were begging to work. They were looking for work. That's why eventually, all the government projects started during that time, was to put people to work. And that helped us get out of the problem we had. But today, you give somebody a shovel and said, "Hey, go dig ditches or do some sort of," they'll laugh at you.
Yeah.
"Oh, that's too hard. I can't do that." Well, I guess you must not be as bad as you think you are.
John Wayne said it best. Life is hard. It's harder when you're stupid.
Yeah, I like that.
Go get a job and do something and provide for yourself. That is what the true American dream was, to come here and make something of yourself.
Work hard.
Not let the government make it for you.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. We've made the government into Santa Claus. We have. And unfortunately, people vote.
Or sugar daddy.
Well, that too. People vote. Well, people will always vote for Santa Claus.
You're right.
Or a sugar daddy.
Or a sugar daddy.
If you're so inclined.
Yeah.
If you're so inclined to go that direction.
We need to be sugar mama or sugar daddy.
You're right.
There can be both.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's true. But
Right.
I was kind of looking at kind of some of this stuff, that there were some changes in the what was it, the big beautiful bill.
Okay.
I kind of want to kind of go on some of the proposed policy changes to SNAP, just for our listeners out there, just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on with this stuff. What they've done was the maximum age for able-bodied adults without dependents subject to the work requirement has been increased from 54 to 64. They said basically adults in this age range must now work, volunteer, or participate in a training program for at least 80 hours per month to receive benefits for more than 3 months over a 36-month period, which is, to me, it's not bad.
That's not bad.
80 hours a month?
It's not bad.
It's okay.
20 hours a week.
Yeah.
4 hours a day.
When I worked in the when I worked for a coffee shop, that was like the minimum requirement for health benefits. You had to work 20 hours a week. That was like if you worked any less than that, you weren't eligible for the
it was like
stuff.
kind of like a part-time employee or something.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just saying, to put things in perspective, I mean, like I would.
They've kind of narrowed the exemptions. They say previous exemptions for veterans, individuals experiencing homelessness, and former foster youth are now removed. These groups must now meet the same work requirements as before. The exemption for caregivers has also been narrowed, now applying only to those with a child under 14 rather than 18.
Wow. Oh, that makes sense, because you can start a part-time job at 15.
Exactly. So that's
right.
that's probably the thinking. They said limited waivers. The ability for states to waive work requirements in areas with high unemployment has been severely restricted. Waivers are now only available for areas with an unemployment rate of over 10%, a threshold that's rarely met.
That's a lot.
And a new exemption from the work requirement has been created for American Indians, Alaska Natives, and other tribal members. Reduced benefits for some households, a utility allowance cuts. It says households without an elderly or disabled member will no longer qualify for the SNAP standard utility allowance. simply by receiving a nominal energy assistance payment. They must now provide documentation of the actual utility costs. I'm glad, I could see how that could get abused. The Congressional Budget Office estimates suggest that 600,000 households could lose an average of $100 per month due to this change.
Oh my gosh.
But
they could lose that because they're also probably fudging the numbers.
Of course they are.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was clarifying for myself. So that's what they're saying.
It's sort of like it's a little different, but it's kind of in the same vein here. Like, so people that claim losses during a natural disaster,
Yes.
especially people working for cash,
Of course.
and then all of a sudden they don't have any documentation of how much money they're making, and they're claiming, well, they lost this. The government's saying, okay, show me proof, show me W-2s, show me
anything,
and they can't show it because they've been fudging how much money they've been making. So I mean, people are always trying to game the system. Of course, that's just kind of
like I said, I was curious.
Always trying to work, trying to benefit them. And I get it, I get it, but you got to have rules. Otherwise, you got the problem we got now. They said the new law ends SNAP eligibility for many immigrants granted humanitarian protection, including asylum seekers, refugees, and survivors of domestic violence or trafficking. Congressional Budget Office estimates this change will cut approximately 90,000 people from SNAP.
Wow.
There's a lot of changes to this program. They said beginning fiscal year 28, states will be required to fund a portion. So I guess the federal government's saying, okay, states, y'all got to put some money up.
Wow.
Which it should be that way.
And I think also, I hate to say it, but I'm pretty sure that would incentivize the states to probably be a little bit more like let's not just hand this out to anybody if we're paying out of our own pockets.
Because otherwise you're going to be running out of money. And
That's what I'm
states
saying.
have to budget.
Yeah.
They have to actually come to zero every year because they can't deficit spend.
Well, right now, Louisiana is one of the few states that are trying to look for a temporary stopgap for November. They're working on some short-term solution to cover the snaps, where they're going to move some money from the Department of Health, $140 to $150 million, to help cover this, to help the citizens of Louisiana during this time. It's a temporary stopgap. I mean, it's not a permanent thing because that's a substantial amount of money.
Oh, but it's going to get
they realize, there's 847,000 people in Louisiana who rely on SNAP every month.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a pie.
Yeah.
And they're saying that it won't cover everyone. There's food banks.
I was just about to say
and
that.
things like that are already strained.
Yep.
So
you said it's a lot of money, but I was like, but trust me, that money's going to go fast.
Yeah, they say the cost sharing requirement is based upon the state's payment error rate. And they could basically force states to cover up to 15%.
Okay.
They'll have to come up with,
Wow.
so it's going to be, more rule, more, these changes are going to, states are going to have to kind of eat this, which means they're going to have to start juggling money around and where areas where it got money, and now they may not get it anymore because
there's something that kind of popped into my head on this too was, what about the schools that depend on these funds for the free meals? That's going to be significant because now one day all of a sudden we're not going to be able to feed our kids in school.
They may not. If once SNAP funding ends, I don't know how they're going to get money. Unless these states going to have to step up and find money to at least temporarily do this until they figure something out in Washington about how they're going to handle this. But
and see, that's something I've thought of for years. If those kids are required to be there by law, they should be fed a substantial, healthy meal by the state for free. Yeah. All kids. That should not even be a question.
Well, I think that's the deal with with schools and money. I don't know what the answer is. That's what I'm saying. I've said all along. There's so many things that we need to fix in this country, and it just aggravates me when I see how much money we spend overseas. I said,
Oh,
what
yeah.
could that money do here
Yeah.
to help our own citizenry that needs help?
That truly needs help.
Exactly. I just that's a part of me that I'll never understand. And I think in saying that, I believe that's just a common sense thing. And look, I understand we live in the world. I mean, there's obligations around the globe that our country makes treaties with, and I understand all that. But I mean, I just think on some level, we have to. Something's got to click here. I mean, it's like we got to take care of this country first, and then we worry about the rest of the world. Because we can't adequately address problems in other part of the world until we're strong,
Right.
Until our population is taken care of and all this. And I just think right now with all the, over the last 4 years, that unrestricted immigration, you got all these people pouring into these cities. They're using hospitals. They're using all these things that's draining resources.
Right.
It's a mess. And that's what I'm saying. People playing politics with this stuff. And we're in the mess we're in right now.
Yeah.
They said the federal share of the state administrative costs will be reduced from 50% to 25% starting in fiscal year 27. Funding for the SNAP Nutrition Education Obesity Prevention Grant Program is being eliminated after the fiscal year 2025 allocation.
Wow.
So there's going to be some changes that are coming with this, but I mean, we're at a point now where nothing's happening simply because they can't come to an agreement.
Right.
And it's going to reach even further than that. I think there's an estimate of almost 750,000 federal employees that have been furloughed. That means they're not receiving money.
Yeah.
And, that's a significant, portion of people that just aren't, just not going to be spending.
Yeah.
I mean, that's lost wages, productivity, morale, a whole bunch of stuff, and the federal government's going to tank.
Right.
So who are the Democrats really ticking off about this right now? I mean, this is the working class people that they say they're supposed to represent, and they want to die on the line of, we want, medical help or insurance for illegal immigrants. That should be a separate bill. The government shutdown should be this. Vote on it, and we're going to watch your vote, and then submit this over here, and then we'll watch those votes. And if it loses, it loses. It shouldn't have anything to do with something else. And that's what's kind of irritating me about this whole situation is they're going to be hurting a lot of good people in this country on a hill that they're willing to die on.
Yeah.
I mean, the Democrat Party is dying right now.
Well, right now they're rallying around a foreigner that's running for New York.
They're rallying around a communist.
Yeah, that's what it's come down to. That's what I'm saying. The Democratic Party is
okay. It's illegal to be a U.S. citizen and be a communist.
I don't even recognize that party. Looks nothing like it was back when I grew up, and how. What I heard from them. I mean, something is just, they have embraced a leftist ideology, an economic populism that's just, I don't know where that's going to lead, but right now, I mean, we're going through.
We see where it's leading. It's the destruction of the Democrat Party is what's happening, because it's imploding from the inside, and the inner fighting is getting ridiculous. And look who the spokespeople are. AOC.
Well, that's
Gavin Newsom.
Oh, good Lord. Just from what I hear. I mean, that guy's destroyed California, and then they're sitting here trying to make him out to be the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I was going to make a joke.
Please do.
Have you guys seen the original Shrek, the main antagonist of that film, Lord Farquaad?
Yes.
When he's like, some of you may die, and that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. It feels like that, where it's like, all about them.
They don't. That's what I'm saying.
High horses.
What's so sad is as much as Trump has always had high negativity,
Right.
Unfavorable ratings,
Of course.
and that's fine. That's what I'm saying. Considering that the Democratic Party has not been able to capitalize on some of this, just tells you how bad they are.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sorry, but I secretly think a lot of people are looking to him kind of for the answers, even though they don't want to admit it.
Exactly.
I don't want to say this in front of everybody, but come on, Mr. Trump, do your thing, please. Fix this problem for us.
Right.
I need my benefits.
I had a conversation recently with someone about like the potential next political election, and I was like, there may be a secret Democrat out there somewhere that may be able to run. They can probably knock our socks. That's what I was going to say. That's why I said secret. That's why I said secret.
Right now it's AOC and Gavin Newsom, just who wants to be vice president more.
Kamala Harris has mentioned she probably will run again. So
all I'm saying is, like, again,
yes,
I'm
please
talking about,
split those votes up. That's what we need. Dumber and dumber.
All I was saying was that whenever that happens, I was like, I think that right now the Democratic Party is not nearly as strong as I think it was in the past, and that's showing by like
it's terrible. It's terrible right now. And
anyways,
I'm telling you, as a result of all this going on, I mean, part of our conversation here is about Walmart. They could lose up to about $2 billion from this right now.
Every day.
$2 billion in November.
Okay.
Because if they don't, the way it works out, how money is distributed to them.
Yeah.
So according to a June report from the market research data firm Numerator, Walmart accounts for roughly a quarter, 24% of Snap shoppers' total spending.
Wow.
But see, they've been doing some stuff about Snap too. They've implemented this. You got to have a minimum Snap order. And all they're doing some sketchy stuff with the whole Snap thing anyway. So I don't know. It
says here, given the estimated $100 billion spent by the government on the program annually.
How much?
$100 billion.
Jeez.
Roughly, and that's what he was saying. Is that $20 billion of that
goes to Walmart?
Two. Well, it says roughly $8.3 billion monthly. So basically, Walmart is getting through this. This would imply a loss of about $2 billion for Walmart if the benefits are withheld for the entire month of November.
Oh man, you better believe that's going to make Walmart's not going to be happy with that.
So,
you think it's going to be bad? They're going to go from 2 cashiers to 1 now.
Well,
you're starting to see that's eventually. I mean, it's now you go to these stores, it's all self checkout. I mean, they got
They're getting away from that. Walmart is getting away from that. The last couple times we've been, they've had 4 to 6 cashiers. Now you have to pay to use the self-checkout. There's a membership you have to pay for the self-checkout, or you have to go through because people were stealing stuff.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And now they're looking like with Sam's has this thing where you can just push your cart through and your credit card is attached to your card. So when you push it through the scanner, it just bills you automatically for everything you got.
Wow.
And I think Walmart is eventually going to go to that system too.
Well, that way you minimize theft and stuff like that. They say SNAP benefits make up about 8% of all retail spending on groceries. Even a short interruption of this spending could lead to layoffs or other painful adjustments in this sector. I'm looking at a Newsweek article on this whole issue with Walmart and SNAP. They said Walmart alone accounts for almost 1/4. This is at about $25 billion. And the SNAP spending accounts for more than 8% of their grocery sales. This is going to be, wild. They say Walmart, whose revenue rose 5% to $681 billion. In its most recent fiscal year, captures 24% of SNAP shopper spending, followed by Kroger, 8%, Costco, 6%, Amazon, 5%, and Walmart's own Sam's Club, 4%.
Oh, yeah.
So,
capitalize on that. Costco, I'm not surprised about.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but I mean, think about it. You know, the Costco and Walmart are Democrat-run businesses.
Yeah.
These are liberal businesses, and it's kind of like the whole thing when they started, hating on Elon Musk. And I'm sorry, you're the one who made him rich with the electric vehicles and everything, and now you want to key the cars and burn them and go after the dealerships. They're actually hurting the very companies that are run by the liberals trying to support you. That's irony in its best.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous if you think about it.
I don't. I mean, some of this stuff. As I said, this is unfortunate. This is all because of politics.
Oh yeah.
Just some things I'm reading here of they kind of give you what people are saying. The USDA, in a notice on its website, bottom line, the well has run dry. At this time, there will be no benefits issued November 1st. We're approaching an inflection point for Senate Democrats. They can continue to hold out for health care for illegal aliens and gender mutilation procedures, or reopen the government so mothers, babies, and the most vulnerable among us can receive critical nutrition assistance. Jennifer Hatcher, she's the chief public policy officer at the Food Marketing Institute, in a statement on October 21st, now is the time for Congress to end the government shutdown to ensure that our most vulnerable Americans continue to have access to the food they need to feed their families through SNAP. And I see here an economist, Ismael Martinez, told Newsweek, said more than 40 million people rely on SNAP benefits to help them access essential and healthy foods. It's more important than ever, as food insecurity is higher today than it has ever been before the pandemic. The share of families with children, 17.9%, who experience food insecurity, has continued to rise consistently since 2021. SNAP benefits help a lot these families avoid poverty. Just last year, SNAP kept more than 3.5 million people out of poverty, including more than 1.4 million children. Even a brief interruption of benefits will push all these economically vulnerable families and children into greater hardship during a time of rising food and economic insecurity.
I think it's funny. We talked a little bit earlier about Louisiana putting in almost 140 million. We had, 750,000 people on SNAP. The governor of Virginia declared a state of emergency, which will help him move some funds. They have 850,000 residents in Virginia that are impacted by SNAP. Governor Gavin Newsom has 5.5 million people on SNAP, and he is dedicating 80 million in food bank support. Think about that. And he wants to run our government?
I personally,
Really?
I really think.
No, but they got to be preparing for a major. California has to be preparing for a major fallback scenario.
I tell you what, and you, hunger will make you do things that you didn't think you would do. You talk about a breakdown in social order quick. People go hungry, make them run on stores. I mean, it can get ugly. I mean, it can really get ugly quick. I know
any kind of big inner city area, that's going to be
it's going to get ugly.
Oh yeah,
it's going to get ugly, or could get.
Oh yeah,
it could get ugly. I should say. Let me rephrase.
Is there still a potential for them to make a decision before November 1st, or are we at the point where?
Well, it's going to get to a point they eventually things just run out. I mean, because
we got to.
I mean, the subsidies expire at the end of December.
Yeah.
Well, that's for the immigrant, the Obamacare subsidies, and which is kind of funding the illegal immigrants.
I will posture it this way. I'm not saying the Obamacare is. Yes, there is that illegal component, and that's unfortunately, if it was strictly for just American citizens to get, then I think there wouldn't be an issue. But the problem is, within all that, there's a lot of things that's ripe for abuse and is going to people it shouldn't be going to. As I said, I've had my head bit off for a few people have reached out to me about one of my comments on a post I responded to one time, just made a comment on about that, and they were, explaining about how bad, their family, couldn't afford insurance and they use ACA, and I get it. So, I mean, it's just unfortunate that the original intent of these programs are kind of being abused, and that's unfortunately what has led some people to kind of throw up their hands, because there are a lot of people that were against Obamacare that basically said it ruined stuff. So some people say it was bad, some people say it was good. I really don't know. I haven't done enough reading on health care to know the intricate details of the ACA and all that. So, but unfortunately, I think there are just some other issues going on with that's kind of leading people to believe the way they do. They say right now, I'm looking at what some other states are doing right now to kind of mitigate this disaster. Stoney mentioned Virginia. Colorado is considering a ballot measure to tax high-income earners to fund school meals and potentially SNAP.
Uh-oh.
So
tax the rich.
There it is.
Yeah.
And they say, like other states, so, Stoney mentioned Virginia and California, New York. They're trying to say we're going to use state funds to cover this stuff. But the USDA has basically said we're not going to reimburse you, so you got to spend your own money.
Yeah.
Yep, they did say that.
Like states like Minnesota and Pennsylvania have halted new SNAP applications or warned residents of delays. Some states are weighing major program cuts. North Carolina has warned it may have to end its SNAP program entirely if the state cannot cover the newly mandated costs. Alabama is considering ending a simplified application process for older adults. Some states like Texas have already opted out of other federal food assistance programs, such as summer EBT, citing administrative burdens as a preview of potential future actions with SNAP.
So Texas doesn't have.
They don't. They're out of it.
Really?
At least they. Well, I'm going to tell you, this unfortunately is the problem with a lot of these federal programs. It's always great up front. The feds come in with a lot of money and say, look, we're going to get this program going. But, after a certain amount of time, you're going to start funding this. This is just a temporary deal.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's what happens. I know that our previous governor, Governor John Bel Edwards, basically when he got elected, expanded Medicaid. He took the federal money. And unfortunately, that hooks the state now on this long term. So Louisiana has had to adjust itself to deal with this. So
it's just like when Louisiana is under common law, which one? I forgot. Crap. You got common law and civil law. Which one is it?
Napoleonic Code.
Yeah.
Right.
And the federal government every year, first day of the fiscal year, the federal government said you need to pass a law that says that you no longer are that type of a law, or we're going to hold our highway funds from you. Every year. That was the first day of the fiscal year. The federal government said, if you don't change this, we're going to hold our federal funds from you. And it's going to wind up being the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
You do what we want,
or no money.
No money.
Yep.
Yeah, right now they say states with the highest financial impact. Right now it looks like Alaska has reported the highest error rate of any state in fiscal year 24 at nearly 25%. This would result in the highest percentage increase in its SNAP budget. California
Wait, you're saying that Alaska has the highest
error rate.
Oh, okay.
Which is mentioned earlier about what's that's kind of one of those
right.
factors in the cost to the state.
I see now.
California is projected to face the largest total cost with $1.9 billion increase in benefits and administrative costs.
Oh my goodness.
Well, they got 5.5
Yeah.
million people
Yeah.
on subsidy.
New York, second highest at estimated $1.9 billion in
I'm
additional
telling you,
SNAP.
it's these big cities.
You know,
It's gonna hit hard for them.
Florida expected to pay $1.3 billion in extra costs. Texas projected to pay $1 billion. Pennsylvania an additional $982 million.
And so the states have to find that money
Correct.
elsewhere in their budget.
That's right.
Ooh, oh man, that's gonna be tight. Not
Yeah.
like in a cool way, and like tight and like they're gonna have to be pinching pennies is what I meant. Oh
Yes.
no! Yikes!
I mean, they said while the national average error rate was nearly 11% in fiscal year 24, far above the new 6% threshold, some states have much higher rates. And I mentioned Alaska has prioritized in processing benefits even with incomplete documentation, which has led to a higher error rate.
Okay, that was my next question.
Yeah,
was why
other
does
states
Alaska-
with relatively high error rates in the 14 to 60% include Florida, Georgia, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, and Oregon. So yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that it kind of so now that particular state has got to look at its budget
Yep.
that it can't deficit spend, which means it's got to
Yep.
balance its budget every year.
Yep.
Okay, where are you going to
Where are
find
we
the
gonna
additional money?
Or we're going
To do this because
$1.9 billion.
that means somebody else is getting money taken. That's usually how
Yep.
it works.
Yep.
So do you pull it from roads? Do you pull it from
Right.
healthcare? Do you pull it from all the other
Oh, yeah.
things a state
Everything else that has probably been begging for more money over the course of the past few years. That's gonna not be fun.
Yeah, I mean I don't.
Yeah, hold on, guys, while I just find a cool $1.5 billion laying around. Dang.
Yeah, well, there is some controversy regarding calculating that error rate.
Right.
They say the federal government's methodology for calculating SNAP error rates relies on a quality control system that involves both state and federal reviews of a sample of cases. Interesting.
Okay. When 40 million illegal
Yeah.
immigrants
That's
are
the problem.
getting,
That's the
are-
problem.
Hello.
That is the problem right now.
Defunct system.
That is I think if you didn't have this unmitigated disaster of immigration that's happened and overwhelmed these states that deal with this stuff, this is the result of that.
Yeah.
It drives now all these other things that we're talking about. I mean, so it said the SNAP QC system is a 4-step process. There's a state review. It said each month state agencies review a sample of participating households, about 50,000 cases annually nationwide, to confirm their eligibility and the accuracy of their benefit amount. This includes a review of household documentation and interviews. Then there's a federal re-review. The USDA's Food and Nutrition Service conducts an independent re-review of a subsample of the cases initially reviewed by the state, about 25,000 cases.
Okay.
And then corrections. When an error is identified, whether it is underpayment or overpayment, the state corrects it. Overpaid benefits must be paid back by the household, and underpaid benefits are reimbursed. And then analysis. The FNS analyzes all the data collected and uses a statistical analysis to calculate the state-specific payment error rates.
Interesting.
So that's how they're coming with that.
Coming to that conclusion.
Yeah, that's how they're getting that number.
I had no idea.
So how about they take the 87,000 IRS agents that the Biden crime family armed and put in work, and let them go after a few more of those and get more of that done. Say, you're not going to work for the IRS anymore.
Yeah.
You're going to work for health and hospitals, and let's see what we can do about
Yeah,
that.
so you could see where how some of these states are dealing, why these error rates are the way they are, because I mean, if you're dealing with a lot of illegals or people that were claiming asylum and all these other things, because we know it looks like the big beautiful bill, part of that is going to change some of those rules. But prior to that, this is kind of what's driving some of these numbers right now. Is probably a lot of this illegal immigration and people overwhelming and claiming social services.
And our politicians not reporting a death of a grandparent or parent and claiming their benefits for another 3 to 10 years after that. Yes, AOC, we know. And I forgot the name of that other politician that didn't claim her grandmother for 11 years receiving benefits and cashing the checks. I need to remember what her name is. But I got the brain damage.
Do we have any statistics or anything on kind of the age breakout of how they're viewing this whole issue?
No, at least I haven't looked at it.
I'd be very curious if there's anything, how maybe Gen X views it versus boomers versus millennials versus Gen Z, or even now,
I
Generation
kind of came
Alpha?
up with a graph for it.
Okay.
The boomers, are they look at things through pride and purpose, proof of strength, and responsibility. Then Gen X is looking at it with independence and skepticism, necessary evil and authenticity. Millennials, anxiety and delusionment, evidence of failure and fairness. And Gen Z is anger and systematic injustice and expression. And then let's see if I can find that second part of that. Where did that go?
To go back just a second, at least from what little bit of searching I did around, Representative Jasmine Crockett is the one.
That's
who,
it.
Who
That's it.
It says Jasmine Crockett says she simply forgot to inform Social Security that her grandmother had died in 2012 and continued to collect
of course.
her.
We forgot. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, just keep collecting those checks.
And it wasn't 11 years. It was 13 years that she was collecting Social Security from her grandmother.
I knew it was something like that.
You're right. Hey, close enough.
So the generational contrast from givers to system survivors to silent generation, they did food drives, work programs, mutual aid. Boomers, responsibility and legacy. We fix what's broken. Philanthropy, church drives, and civic duty. Gen X, again, skepticism and independence. No one's coming to save us. Gen X, them guys are crazy anyway. Strategic self-reliance and quiet giving. Millennials, delusioned idealism. The system has failed us. Online activism, burnout, and quiet quitting. And Gen Z is the radical individualism. The rules aren't always fair. Disruption, public protest, and moral fluidity. So there you go. It breaks it down just simply weaker. Now we're in the weak man era, which is going to create hard times. We're in that time where these weak individuals are going to just destroy everything that was built.
And it's just... I don't know. I mean, it's part of me, of course, I don't want people to go hungry, but
no.
I mean, something's got to give here. Either you gotta change how much money is going out of the country and keep that money here to possibly fund some of these programs.
Right.
Or you basically, you kind of cut the line and let each state, you're going to have to figure this out. I mean, I'm looking at here, it says, if they just basically do away with their SNAP programs, like if Mississippi ended their SNAP program, and more than 350,000 people now are in the hole. In Michigan, that number rises to 1.47 million.
But this is where my pessimistic side comes in. How many of those people are actually like working age adults that can hold a job?
See, that's where I think
that's where I get a little cynical. Where it's like, how many of that 300,000
exactly
are
people
when
they
who
come up with that?
Like of those 300,000 people, how many of those are like unable to work and like really need the benefits, like, or are in like a a certain like poor, circumstance or whatever, unfit to work or disability or whatever it may be, you can insert there. How many of those like 300,000 like are actually like healthy working age adults that could hold a job but choose not to? That's all.
It sounds like Ian is falling right into my statement that I've had for many, many years, and I've said it on this show. If you're not a liberal when you're 18, it means you have no heart. If you're not a conservative when you're 40, it means you have no brain. And it sounds like Ian sliding it. But wait, but wait, you could be working. How are we going to pay for this?
I think anybody that as time goes on and you get into the world and you get a job and you work and you see how much of your paycheck goes away that you never see.
In a country that was started over a 0.5-cent tax on a breakfast beverage.
And
not to interrupt you, but
you've got politicians wanting to take more
and more
and more from you. So
yeah,
I mean, the only people that are for that are people who are not working.
The sad part is
they aren't.
The sad part for me came like I had that revelation whenever I was 18 and I worked at a big wholesale store, and I was watching people that like had buggies like full of like food and like not paying a single cent for it, and I was like, oh, so like where does that money come from? And someone told me, it's like, oh, that gets taken out of like your check. That's part of like the taxes you pay. And I was like, oh, so like that person that could work that is not working is taking my taxpayer money to go.
That same
and I was
person
like,
had fingernails done, hair done, and a brand new iPhone.
Well, at the time of 2018, or
You know
no,
what I'm
sorry,
saying.
I was 18, 2000. Whatever that would be, 2010.
They had the latest, greatest
You're
phone.
right. Whatever it was, they had.
Whatever it was, they had it.
Yep. I had that reality check, and I was like, "Oh, I see why people are upset about this." Back then, and now here I am. Gosh.
Well, and I say this a lot. I'm a fiscal conservative with liberal tendencies.
Right.
Okay. I know there's a lot of people out there who need help. I mean, look what happened to me 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello,
that's what I meant.
There's people out there who truly need help.
100%.
You just need to tell me how we're going to pay for it.
Yep.
And how we're truly going to reach the people that need help, not the ones sitting on their butts, having 9 kids with different daddies, and there's no accountability. I think personally, you have 9 kids, you should have to name who the fathers are, so that they can be counseled on child support, or you can't receive benefits. Because that was the way of the world for how long? More kids means more money.
Oh, yeah.
And that's got to stop. If you're not going to be accountable, why do we have to be accountable for you? Look at all the videos on there. It's a taxpayer's responsibility to feed my children. No, it's not my responsibility. It's your responsibility. If you can't provide for those kids, don't have them.
But that's the thing, Stoney, just like we stated at the closer to the beginning of this episode, once you get something and you continue to get it, it becomes
an entitlement.
It's entitlement.
Yeah,
That's
right. It's been probably
and that's one of my biggest things with the liberal Democrats. With the entitlement of Social Security. Social Security is not an entitlement. We paid into that.
Yep.
You paid into it.
Oh, yeah.
Jason paid into it. I paid into it. The Hottie Doctor paid into it.
Right.
That's not an entitlement.
Yeah.
But they want to designate it that so they can keep robbing it to, money launder and send it to their, their Biden crime family individuals.
Yeah, they say right now only 8 states meet the federal SNAP accuracy standards. Nebraska, Nevada, South Dakota, Utah, Vermont, Wisconsin, and Wyoming.
Interesting.
Meet the 6% threshold as per the report. And I'm going to tell you what's going on. There's a lot of these states that are so far out, which means there's probably a lot of overpayments and basically that's why the federal government is like, y'all got to clean your house and do better job of trying to get this right instead of just simply doing whatever you want to do and just kind of,
Working it out.
Yeah, we're working it out. You know how that goes. It's, there's politics involved with that, and vote for me, and I'll do this for you, and blah blah blah. So I don't know. Yeah. This is
it's a crazy situation. And at the time of recording this episode, obviously it isn't November 1st yet for us, but by the time
it will be the day of.
Well, you all at home, it will be the 3rd,
which is the day of reckoning, apparently.
Okay. Oh, you're right. You're right. Everything. I think all the effects take place. Hopefully, the 1st. So I guess we'll find out if that's going to be.
Well, that's when everything stops.
Okay.
But the point of the show was the Walmart thing.
I see what you're
saying that all the people were coming in on that Monday and just robbing and looting and doing everything they could. So
I'd be very curious. Can anybody look up real quick? Or what is the percentage of people that would be willing to do that? Break into Walmarts and take whatever they want. I'm curious if there's a generational breakdown of how that's viewed. I'd be very curious to see that rapid rise in younger people be willing to just take stuff that belong to them because they feel like it's entitled. I'm just curious if there would be any numbers on that.
I don't believe so, but I'll look and see. Yeah, I don't think I got anything visual here on that. There's a lot of media perception versus the reality of that kind of stuff, but nothing that feels concrete. It's definitely crazy, and I hope that by this time, by the release of this episode, that of course, obviously the whole retail world isn't.
Well, when it releases, it'll be in the middle of the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. By the time you're listening, by the time everyone at home was listening to this,
it'll be happening.
Yeah, I hope that I'm saying is I hope that the retail world's not in shambles by the time you play this episode. But I guess we'll find out all this and more next time on Retrospect. But I'm curious to hear what everyone else has to say about this sort of situation. We have, as per usual, we have comment sections on Spotify and on YouTube where you can leave us your thoughts about this. Are you affected by this sort of situation? Is there someone in your family that's affected by this? I'm curious. And if you need a longer form place to respond, we have the email address, getoffendedtogether@gmail.com, where you can leave some more longer responses if the comment section isn't allowing you, or you're hitting the character limit. But until next week, thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone, and God bless.
Maybe the real shutdown isn't happening in Washington. Maybe it's happening in us. When systems stop working, we get a mirror held up to who we've become. We see a nation that's grown comfortable with outsourcing compassion, resilience, and responsibility. The lights may flicker in D.C., but the question is, will the light stay on in our conscience? Hard times are coming, but they might be exactly what it takes to remind us of what strength really looks like. Thank you for hanging out with us today. You're the best. Peace.